Jury selection is set to begin in the case of Derek Chauvin. He's the former Minneapolis police officer who's charged with murder in the death of George Floyd. Chauvin is the officer who can be seen on that widely circulated bystander video. He's pressing his knee onto George Floyd's neck as Floyd says multiple times, "I can't breathe." Jury selection in this case is expected to take at least 3 weeks, and jurors will be brought in one by one for questioning. Those people who were selected to be part of the jury pool have already been sent out a lengthy questionnaire where they were asked everything from their prior contacts with police, their views on police brutality, their opinions on the Black Lives Matter movement and other protest movements that have been going on. And in the end, a total of 14 jurors will be picked to hear the case. That will include 12 people who will actually deliberate and 2 who will be chosen as alternates, and they will be called into deliberations only if needed. Because this case has been so high profile, it's going to be hard to find jurors who haven't heard anything about it. So legal experts say that the key will be trying to find those jurors who may have a bias, may have heard something about it, may have formed some opinions, but are willing to set those opinions aside and just listen to the evidence as it's presented at trial and make their decision based on the evidence. The earliest the trial will start will be March 29th, and legal experts say that 2 key questions are likely to come up during the trial. One will be whether Derek Chauvin's actions actually caused Floyd's death. Prosecutors don't have to prove that they were the only thing that caused Floyd to die, but that having his knee on George Floyd's neck was a substantial causal factor. Defense attorneys are taking issue with this, and they've been pointing to an autopsy report that says Floyd had fentanyl in his system as well as underlying medical conditions. So that issue on cause of death is going to be argued by experts on both sides. Another key issue that will come up at trial is whether Derek Chauvin's actions were reasonable. As a police officer, he is authorized to use force under the law, but whether that force was reasonable is something the jury will have to decide. Issues about use of force, police training, and police procedures will be a big part of the trial as well. The trial is expected to go into at least mid-April. City and state leaders have been prepared for any sort of public reaction that it might elicit. They've been putting fencing and barricades around the courthouse, and they've closed some downtown buildings and streets. The National Guard and extra police officers will be in the city. City leaders are trying hard to avoid the type of unrest that turned violent last May. In Minneapolis and neighboring St. Paul, dozens of businesses were damaged. They were burglarized or robbed, and they were burned. And even a police station was torched as Floyd's death sparked protests around the world.